I'm going to share my experience microdosing, my first experience, how it happened, and what I experienced. So, the reason that I started microdosing is because a lot of you guys know I lost my boyfriend. He passed away in November of 2023. So, I ended up meeting a counselor inside of a metaphysical store. And the counselor, after some time, seeing that I was battling with depression, recommended that I microdose shrooms to help me heal. And at first, I was a bit skeptical, but I had already tried them before with a friend. So I was like, you know what, at this point, I'll try anything. I just want to feel better. So I traveled outside of my state and I purchased the shrooms from this girl that my counselor knew that he had purchased some shrooms from before. And I didn't want to do them alone because I know that on shrooms, certain things may happen, so you want to be with somebody. So I ended up doing them with a friend. Let's see. So the friend that I decided to do it with was actually a younger coworker of mine. He seemed cool, and we had been hanging out, so we ended up trying the shrooms together. So we were at his house, and we the strand of shrooms that we decided to try was the penis envy strand, because I remember researching that penis envy was like the most potent one that you could try. So we got it, and I purchased about 6 grams from the girl who I got the shrooms from, but I only started off by taking 1.2 grams or something like that. So he and we took the shroom, and initially we didn't feel anything. Now, we didn't really, I don't think we ate much. We ate some wings. We ate like 1 or 2 wings, but before we could finish all the wings, the shroom ended up kicking in. And we also had we smoked some weed. So we smoked like a really fat blunt. So it was like 2 blunts in one, and we smoked that. And within like an hour or so of us having conversations and eating the wings, the shroom started kicking in. At first it kicked in for him, and I was just sitting there like, what? How am I the one who brought the shrooms over here and it's kicking in for him? And he kept closing his eyes, and every time he closed his eyes, because I was laying next to him, every time he closed his eyes, he was laughing and he was like kicking his feet. Now, before it kicked in, we were both feeling kind of nauseated. So I remember I was feeling kind of sick, and I was like, I don't feel good. So I'm laying on my stomach just like trying to feel better, and it's kicking in for him. And every time he closed his eyes, he was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I wish you can see it. And he was saying how there was like some type of entity that was like in the middle of his third eye as he had his eyes closed. And every sound that he heard, apparently the entity was moving to these colors to the sound that was going on the TV or whenever I said something. So he kept saying, oh my God, it's so beautiful and it's so sensitive. I wish you can see this. It's like colors, and he was explaining to me the colors that he was seeing. So all of a sudden my ears popped, and my hearing just became so clear, like I could hear everything. And then when I closed my eyes, I started to see these 2 huge dragons. It was like, one was a large purple dragon, and then the other one was like a golden dragon, and it was like really bright, colorful purple on one side, and then it was like gold on the other. And the dragons, they were like off into the distance, so everything looked kind of in slinky form. And I just remember the dragons, even though they were so huge, they didn't seem like they wanted to hurt me. They were just there for me. I knew that they were there watching me, like just making sure that I was okay. And I just remember seeing those dragons, and I felt protected. And I remember that it all made sense. Life all made sense. This did go on for about 5.5 hours of us just marveling at the colors that we were seeing. And I just remember it being so beautiful. Now, if you guys are wondering, like, what is microdosing shrooms, it's psilocybin. The ingredients in the shrooms, from what I've read, is that psilocybin is actually a missing link to our brain. So it actually opens up your brain to experience things more intensely than you typically would experience it. And it helps your thought process, and you just start thinking and remembering and understanding life on a deeper level. Your perspective changes. So after my first microdosing of the shroom, I did feel happier. I did understand life a little bit more. Like, when I was on the shroom, every question that you can ever think of about life, it just makes sense. And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful while you're there that you don't feel the need to question life or wonder why things are going the way that they go, because it makes sense and you understand that there's a bigger purpose. Somehow you just understand. So coming down off the shroom, you kind of can tell that it's starting to wear off, because you're not in that other world so much. We were on the trip for about 5.5 hours. By being on the trip, I mean that we actually were tripping for about 5.5 hours. And once it finally came down, I did end up driving home, and I did feel better. My perspective did change. And then I actually microdosed again a couple of more times, each time slowly increasing the dosage. Overall, it ended up helping me. It definitely helped me on my grieving journey. Before I took the shroom, I definitely read a lot of articles, I watched a lot of videos, and I saw people telling their experience, them having trauma and them going through grief or them being depressed, and the shrooms just helping them to come out of it. And I can honestly say that it definitely has helped me in a major way. I'm going to be sharing my other experiences as I increase the dosage. Like I said, that first time, I think it was 1.2 grams, and then I went up to 1.5, 1.7, 2.0. So I'll be sharing those experiences with you guys as well, for any of you guys who want to microdose shrooms. But if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any experiences from when you microdose shrooms, tell me how much you took and what happened and what made you guys actually turn to the microdosing. But this is not medical advice. However, I do recommend researching psilocybin and microdosing shrooms if you guys are experiencing any type of trauma or mental health or mental challenges. So thank you guys for watching, and I will be back.